In the early medieval world, when kingdoms rose and fell with the turning of seasons, one ruler shaped the course of Europe with patience and resolve. He was known as Carlo Magno, a king whose life blended power, faith, and enduring ambition into history. Carlo Magno lived in a time of deep uncertainty and slow transformation. The Roman Empire in the West had long since fallen, leaving behind a landscape of fragmented kingdoms, shifting loyalties and fading institutions. Across much of Europe, power rested in the hands of local rulers who governed through personal bonds rather than written law. Roads were broken, cities were smaller, and learning survived mainly within monasteries. Yet the memory of Rome still shaped how people understood authority, order, and civilization. The Frankish kingdom, where Carlo Magno was born, stood apart from many others. It was strong in land and warriors, and closely tied to the Christian church. Kings ruled not only through force, but through their role as protectors of the faith. The church, in turn, offered moral authority and a shared vision that crossed borders. This alliance slowly created a sense of unity in a divided world. Beyond the Frankish lands lay rival powers and restless peoples. To the south were the remains of Roman culture and new Muslim states. To the east and north lived tribes with their own customs and beliefs. War was frequent, but so were negotiations, marriages, and oaths. It was within this complex and fragile world that Carlo Magno would rise, shaped by its dangers and possibilities. Carlo Magno was born into a family already accustomed to command. His father, Pepin, was king of the Franks and had secured his rule through both strength and the blessing of the church. From an early age, Carlo was prepared for leadership, not through quiet study alone, but through direct experience of rule, war, and ceremony. He learned to ride, to fight, and to speak before nobles, absorbing the habits of authority as something natural and expected. In appearance, he was imposing, tall for his time, with a steady gaze that conveyed confidence rather than cruelty. His manner was calm and deliberate, yet he could act with great energy when required. He valued loyalty above all and rewarded those who served him faithfully. Though he never mastered writing, he respected learning and surrounded himself with scholars, believing that wisdom strengthened power rather than weakened it. Carlo Magno saw himself as more than a warrior king. He believed his duty was to bring order where there was chaos and unity where there was division. His faith was sincere, shaping his sense of justice and responsibility. He prayed regularly and supported the church, not only as a political ally, but as a guide for his own conduct. This blend of strength, belief, and purpose defined his character. It shaped his ambitions and prepared him for the trials that would come to define his reign. As Carlo Magno came into full power, conflict followed him closely, not as a single moment, but as a constant presence. His kingdom bordered many lands where authority was weak and customs differed from his own. To him, these borders were not fixed lines, but living edges, always under threat. Raids, rebellions, and broken promises tested his rule year after year. Peace, when it came, was temporary and fragile. The most enduring struggle was against the Saxons, a people who lived to the north and followed their own gods. They resisted Frankish control fiercely, defending their forests and traditions with determination. Carlo Magno led repeated campaigns against them, each season marked by marches, battles, and uneasy truces. Victory was never final, and each rebellion seemed to rise from the ashes of the last. These wars were harsh and demanding, shaping the tone of his reign. Conflict also arose within his own lands. Powerful nobles expected rewards and influence, and unity depended on careful balance. Carlo Magno traveled constantly, holding courts, listening to disputes, and reminding his followers of his authority. He ruled through presence as much as decree, understanding that distance weakened loyalty. Beyond war, there was a deeper struggle within him. He sought to build a Christian and orderly realm, yet this goal often clashed with the violence required to secure it. Decisions weighed heavily, especially when force was used in the name of faith. His reign became a continuous tension between ideal and reality, where every victory carried the seed of the next challenge. Through these conflicts, Carlo Magno endured, adapting without abandoning his vision and pressing forward despite the cost. The long reign of Carlo Magno left a deep mark on Europe. Through war, law, and alliance, he forged a realm larger than any seen in the West for centuries. Order slowly replaced chaos as roads were repaired, administration improved, and learning encouraged. Monasteries and schools grew under his protection.